In the modern age of overstimulation, a man's greatest enemy is not poverty or politics, it is distraction. Everywhere he looks, his attention is pulled outward, toward fleeting pleasures, synthetic validation, and instant gratification. His primal fire, the very essence of his vitality, is constantly drained through lust and overindulgence. Yet, within this chaos lies an ancient secret that kings, monks, and mystics once guarded closely: the power of semen retention. It is not merely about abstaining from release. It is the art of mastering desire, transforming it into dominion, and awakening the higher self. When a man practices semen retention, he begins by confronting his deepest cravings. Lust is not evil, it is raw life force seeking direction. Most men waste it in the pursuit of temporary pleasure, while a few channel it into creation, vision, and power. The moment one resists the urge to release, the energy begins to rise within him. His body vibrates with an unfamiliar intensity, his eyes sharpen, and his mind clears. The same energy once used for reproduction now fuels intuition, confidence, and creativity. It becomes the bridge between the animal and the divine within. In the first phase, desire fights back. The body rebels, the mind whispers excuses. Old habits and memories surface, tempting him to fall again into indulgence. This is the crucible of transformation. It is here that a man either returns to slavery under his senses or forges himself into something extraordinary. The key is awareness, observing the desire without judgment and redirecting it through breath, exercise, meditation, or creative expression. Each time he wins this inner battle, his will strengthens, and his aura begins to glow with quiet magnetism. As retention continues, subtle changes unfold. The man's posture straightens, his voice deepens, and his gaze becomes unwavering. This is not mere biology, it is energetic alchemy. The seed carries the blueprint of life, and when it is conserved, that blueprint refines the mind. His dreams become clearer, his decisions more precise, his presence commanding. People around him sense something different, though they can't explain it. He becomes magnetic not because of charm, but because he radiates life force untamed and unspent. Then, something profound happens. The man's relationship with desire transforms. No longer is he a victim of his urges. He becomes their master. Lust, once a chain, becomes a ladder. Through transmutation, he channels that force into higher pursuits: ambition, discipline, spirituality, and purpose. The same energy that once dragged him downward now lifts him upward. The hunger for physical pleasure evolves into hunger for greatness, for truth, for mastery. This is when semen retention transcends mere abstinence, it becomes a path to awakening. As weeks turn into months, the man begins to experience inner peace that no external pleasure could offer. His mind is no longer fogged by guilt or regret. Instead, there is clarity, confidence, and calm. The nervous system, once overdriven by excess stimulation, now rests in powerful balance. The energy that once spilled out now flows upward through his spine, igniting dormant centers of power. This is the process yogis call Kundalini rising, the ascension of creative force from base desire to divine consciousness. In this stage, meditation becomes effortless. The mind obeys. Thoughts slow down. The heart opens. The man feels connected to something vast and eternal, as though a silent flame burns within him. He realizes that retention is not about suppression, but transformation, turning instinct into insight, passion into purity. He no longer fears desire. He commands it. He no longer chases pleasure. He radiates it. And in that radiance, he begins to understand that true freedom lies not in indulgence but in mastery. But the journey is not without trials. Retention will expose every shadow within. Anger, impatience, and pride may rise as the energy stirs old emotions buried deep within the subconscious. This purification can be uncomfortable. Yet, this is the true test of dominion, to hold one's composure in the midst of chaos. By grounding through breath, cold showers, workouts, and prayer, the man stabilizes the fire. Each storm he endures polishes his spirit further, transforming him into a calm, powerful presence that cannot be easily shaken. With continued practice, the man starts to notice how his perception of women changes. He no longer sees them as objects of pleasure but as mirrors of divine energy. His interactions become more authentic, respectful, and powerful. Because he no longer needs validation, he attracts naturally. His magnetism is born of inner abundance, not lack. Women sense the control he has over his impulses, and they are drawn to the calm confidence that radiates from him. This is the paradox: when he stops chasing, attraction flows effortlessly toward him. Semen retention also awakens a man's sense of purpose. The energy once lost in moments of weakness is now available for creation and contribution. He feels called to build, to lead, to teach, to evolve. Many great inventors, artists, and spiritual leaders throughout history practiced retention consciously or intuitively. They understood that every drop of life force contains potential waiting to be expressed through their mission. The man who masters his seed masters his destiny, for he learns to direct his creative fire toward lasting achievement rather than fleeting satisfaction. Eventually, retention becomes more than a discipline, it becomes a way of being. The man realizes he is no longer at war with desire. He has integrated it. Desire becomes a trusted servant, not a tyrant. Through this inner harmony, the higher self awakens fully. The higher self is not separate from him, it is his purest essence, unclouded by lust, fear, or doubt. It is the voice that whispers purpose, the light that guides him through darkness, and the wisdom that allows him to act without attachment. As the higher self awakens, the man's energy field expands. His thoughts manifest faster, his words carry weight, and his presence influences others without effort. This is dominion, not control over others, but mastery over one's inner world. The kingdom he rules is internal, the mind, the emotions, the instincts. And from this inner throne, he radiates order, strength, and compassion. Others feel safer in his presence. Inspired by his stillness, he becomes a living symbol of balanced masculine power, refined through spiritual awareness. Yet, he never forgets humility. True mastery is silent, grounded, and compassionate. He understands that power without love becomes tyranny, and love without power becomes weakness. Semen retention teaches this delicate balance. It awakens both the warrior and the sage. The warrior stands for discipline, courage, and self-control. The sage represents understanding, patience, and peace. Together they form the complete man, powerful yet peaceful, passionate yet pure, driven yet detached. In time, he realizes that semen retention is not about denial of pleasure but expansion of consciousness. Pleasure is no longer limited to the body, it becomes spiritual. Every breath, every sunrise, every act of creation becomes an expression of divine joy. The man who once sought fleeting satisfaction now experiences bliss from simply being alive. His energy flows effortlessly, his intuition guides him, and his presence heals. He is no longer a seeker. He has become the source. Ultimately, the journey from desire to dominion is the journey from ignorance to enlightenment. It begins with curiosity, matures through discipline, and culminates in awakening. Through semen retention, a man reclaims his lost energy, his lost purpose, and his lost divinity. He learns that the real battle was never with the world, but within himself. Desire was never the enemy, was the doorway. By mastering it, he steps into his true power, the power to create, to love, to lead, and to live consciously. This is the rise of the higher self, the divine king reborn within every disciplined man. In the end, semen retention is not merely a practice, it is a revolution of consciousness. It reminds men that their greatest treasure lies not in what they chase, but in what they choose to cultivate within. Desire, when mastered, becomes a force of creation. Dominion, when awakened, becomes the path to divine realization. And when a man learns to channel his seed upward, transforming lust into light, he no longer lives as a victim of his lower nature, but as a sovereign of his soul. This is how desire becomes dominion, and how the higher self, long dormant, finally awakens to its boundless power. If you took a single ounce of value from this video, here's your next step. Like this video so we can reach more people, and subscribe to lock in your spot for our next level up session. You absolutely cannot miss what's coming next week. Tell me where you're watching from, it helps me connect with the global tribe we're building. For deep dives, personal growth insights, and direct interaction, join our Telegram channel, link below. This message is too important to hoard. Share it now with a friend whose potential is still untapped. See you on the path to mastery.